legendary Japanese, the poorest country in the world, to the richest country in the world. Brunei, the richest country in the world. Official name Brunei, Darussalam. Taxes, education and freeways are all free. In addition, the government will pay for medical expenses. It is known as one of the world's richest countries. Located in the north of Borneo, Southeast Asia, Brunei is almost the same area as Mie Prefecture. Oil and natural gas are very abundant. The economy is stable thanks to the export of underground resources. But once this country was the poorest country in the world. There was a Japanese person behind this growth. The Japanese came to Brunei. It was during the war. Japan occupied the islands of Southeast Asia one after another from 1941 and invaded Brunei, which the British had ruled. The British with less troops withdrew immediately. The Japanese army got Brunei in hand. In 1942, Japan called this country Brunei Prefecture, Japan, and got under Japanese rule. Tsuyoshi Kimura, 41 years old at that time, was appointed as the governor of Brunei. Kimura is still loved and respected by Brunei people. Kimura was appointed as governor of Brunei Prefecture. First of all, he met with King Ahmed at that time. After becoming Brunei Prefecture in Japan, because Japan had left the king's position unchanged, the authority was protected. The king asked him at the meeting, "What is the request?" Kimura gave only one wish. "Could you make someone as my secretary who is from this country and knows Brunei well to improve Brunei?" Rather than just occupying, considering only Japan's national interest, he wanted to focus on the development of Brunei. Brunei is an unknown country for Kimura. Therefore, he thought he needed the help of Brunei, who has a variety of knowledge. He thought it was best to think and act together, putting Brunei person on the side. The person the king recommended as Kimura's subordinate Isa was Brunei youth who was only 26 years old. His name is Omar Ali Saifuddin, the Japanese administrator who occupied the country. The king's response was obedient, but it didn't trust Japanese. Because Brunei had long been under British rule and British worked only for oil field development for the years. The profit of the oil field didn't fall to Brunei, for life has not changed. And Japan at that time also the real purpose was oil. Brunei youth Omar, who became secretary, thought the purpose of the Japanese army in Kimura was just an oil field, naturally. But Kimura was different, despite being in the occupying state. Rather than just considering about Japan's national interest, the policy priority was on promotion with Brunei's development first. Kimura said, "I want to visit from here first." The place he wanted to visit was a poor village where normal Brunei people lived. Brunei's village at that time was almost still covered in the jungle without roads. Kimura, who looked at that life in his eyes, directed his caution on that natural rubber can be taken in Brunei. Built a factory locally, created jobs, infrastructure developed PMGs such as roads, electricity, communication, and hired many Brunei's paying a reasonable wage. Of course, Kimura had consciousness, securing oil to fulfill the purpose of the Japanese government. But obtained with a newly noticed natural rubber, the revenue is not used for a benefit of the Japanese military. It was used to improve the lives of local residents. Brunei has developed, but to the subordinates, he looked just like spoiling Brunei guys. For subordinates who pointed out that Kimura said with a belief, "We have to be careful that our Japanese behavior and activities will never be laughed at by later generations. We should order it." The relationship between Japan and Brunei's children and grandchildren will continue in the future. The important thing is not the present, but the future. If you want immediate profits and exploit it, the relationship of trust with the people of Brunei will never be built in again. Thus, Brunei covered in the jungle has developed greatly.